It says, in the Kali Yuga, pleasure will be the only reason for marriage. Lust will be the only reason for womanhood. Remember, the context in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the book that we was reading, is dealing with the Kali Yuga. So the last and darkest age of a age or a nation. So not in the previous ages, but in the last age, it says pleasure will be the only reason for marriage. Lust will be the only reason for womanhood. Why would they put that implication there? Because initially, in higher, more advanced aspects or periods of society, marriage, like I said, was for a utility. It was for a reason. It had a significant contract that was written up with an agenda of why these two were getting married and what goals they were going to accomplish. You see, because really you can lay with any female in the world, you know what I mean? And it'd be a total disaster, the outcome, when you have children, because there's nothing for the children to be invested in. There's nothing to account the children to do or to complete, because there was no intention. So there's a lot of children in this world being born with no intentions, with no intention of their life. They express their depression and whatnot, their mental health. And what's significant about that is because they born with an intention, and they don't know what to do. You know what I mean? That's going to be of value to their life. You know, and they're adults now. They weren't really guided on what to do, because their very conception, I'm pretty sure, if their conception was based on lust, there was no intentional motive of what their life would be. Their names they weren't given the names that have significant meaning, called theophoric names, or intentional names about what they would accomplish before they die. See, and that's what blessings from your parents, the significance of blessings from your parents or your ancestors, your grandparents and elders in the village, in rites of passage is important, because rites of passage were things humans instituted to spiritualize or to put an intention into what we're doing, so we get an intentional outcome. Our motives will match our outcome, and we'll be successful, and we'll advance, and we'll be able to get more utility out of our life, out of our existence as humans, as opposed to chaos and disaster and misfortune, and then society collapsing, and we're going to war with each other, and nothing but suffering, the continuation of suffering. In the wild, in nature, pretty much animals have different mating strategies, but pretty much all of them are based on a brutal or selfish intent. You know, even procreation itself, coming out of the natural world, is naturally from like a selfish drive that nature puts inside of the organism. Literally, you know, it's going to produce children that are going to be in hell, that are going to suffer because of divorce or because of broken homes and etc. etc. You know where I'm going. So that is the Kali Yuga. That's the embodiment of Kali Yuga.